The story of a great flood that destroys the world, from which a few survivors escape to start humanity afresh, is one of the most enduring myths across cultures. Hindu mythology contains several variations of this flood myth, especially linked to Lord Vishnu and his Matsya, fish, avatar. In this video, we dive deep into the symbolism and evolution of the Matsya myth, its connection to the flood myths in other civilizations, and what these ancient tales reveal about human existence. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel to support our work. The earliest mention of Matsya and the flood myth in Hinduism is found in the Satapada Brahmana, the Vedic-era text dated around 800–500 BCE. Here, the fish called Matsya helps a man named Manu escape a great deluge. There is no mention of Matsya being an avatar or incarnation of Lord Vishnu. The fish simply helps Manu, the progenitor of humankind, survive the calamity by attaching his boat to Matsya's horn. This allows Manu to safely reach the high mountains, as tremendous floods destroy the world. Thus, with Matsya's aid, Manu is able to recreate life on Earth after the cataclysmic event. Scholars note that this early Vedic legend already contains symbolic elements. The small fish needing Manu's protection to grow into the big fish that ultimately saves Manu in return signifies nature's interdependency, or how even the weak have a crucial role. Protecting dharma or righteousness is vital. Manu upholding his duty, despite danger, allows humanity's survival. The flood as ending one cycle to start another alludes to the cyclical Hindu view of creation and time. The Matsya Manu tale appears in various later Hindu texts like the Mahabharata, 300 BCE, 300 CE. Now Matsya is identified as an avatar of Lord Brahma rather than an independent fish god. The flood myth also gets interwoven into Hindu cosmology as Pralaya, the cyclical dissolution of the cosmos at the end of each Kalpa epoch stretching billions of years. It is in the Puranic literature, 300–1500 CE, that the Matsya mythology blossoms fully. The Matsya Purana, named after the fish avatar, presents Matsya as Lord Vishnu himself, rather than an incarnation of Brahma. Vishnu appears before the sage Manu, a title denoting each progenitor of humanity in every kalpa cycle, as the little golden-horned fish. As Matsya grows bigger and bigger, with Manu's aid, he ultimately helps Manu escape the cataclysm on a boat by tying it to his fish horn. This time, the great serpent Shesha, symbol of cyclical time, is also depicted binding the boat to Matsya. As Matsya steers Manu safely through the raging flood, their conversation makes up the Matsya Purana text itself. This majestic visual of the fish avatar sailing the boat of Manu through dissolution splendidly combines Hindu mythic imagination with deeper truths on existence, time, karma and dharma. Another crucial evolution happens in the Bhagavata Purana version, dated around 500 CE. Now, apart from saving Manu to recreate the world, Vishnu's Matsya avatar has an additional mission: to rescue the precious Vedas from the demon Hayagriva. This Asura had stolen the Vedas from Brahma's sleep. But Vishnu, in his tiny Matsya form, slays the mighty demon and retrieves the Vedas, restoring divine knowledge to the world. Most subsequent Puranas repeat this version, exalting Matsya as savior of both Manu as well as the Vedas, thus saving both life as well as wisdom for the new age. Analyzing this layer reveals the underlying message: righteousness must balance material existence with spiritual knowledge to overcome evil. This remains crucial in every cycle of creation. Now Matsya comes to epitomize the very first avatar of Vishnu, even though earlier myths didn't necessarily depict him as number one. But placing Matsya at start of the Dashavatara lineup serves to emphasize how Lord Vishnu facilitates Manu's work of kickstarting humanity at inception of each creation cycle. Interestingly, while India developed the Matsya mythology over centuries in remarkably colorful ways, the basic story of a massive flood destroying the world appears in myths across ancient cultures. In the Epic of Gilgamesh from ancient Sumeria, Babylonia, the god Ea gets the hero Utnapishtim to build a boat to escape the flood and preserve life. In Greek myths, the titan Prometheus or god Zeus warned the flood hero Deucalion to prepare an ark. Similar flood myths with a survivor on a ship ark sent by gods or divine advice exist among the ancient Mayans, the lore of Cameroon's Kotoko people, legends across Australia's Aboriginal tribes, and even the Cheyenne Native Americans. The prevalent academic theory is that the flood myth arose independently across different pre-modern cultures as a folklore memory of actual catastrophic floods. The Euphrates-Tigris valleys saw volatile, overflowing rivers causing massive destruction. Communities further imagined this trauma as the world totally dissolving in godly deluges. Narrating such mythic fables allowed coping with tragedy beyond mortal control by investing faith in divine providence. Over generations, nearby cultures transmitted these survival fables to each other, causing closer resemblances in the evolved myths. Images fused from pre-existing legends, hence the fish god and ark boat, appear across Mesopotamian, Biblical, Greek, Hindu, Mayan, and other myths. Even while core narrative details wildly diverge, there is also a minority perspective challenging if the flood myth emerged independently worldwide due to common floods. They argue that the common threads indicate the myth originated only once among one human culture, maybe Egypt, then spread globally through travel, trade, and storytelling. Either way, the central message shines clear. Apocalypse is followed by renewal across cultures, and divine forces always stand by the righteous when all seems lost. Scientific theories also abound, connecting deluge myths to actual prehistoric floods due to rising sea levels after the last ice age melted circa 4000 BCE, or through comet-Joch meteorite impacts causing massive tsunamis. In their book The Bible and Astronomy, John Hospers and George Molfinger even argue that the biblical flood resulted from the ancient Hebrews misinterpreting a comet's appearance as God's wrath. Modern scholars point out how ancients deified any disasters beyond their control. Converting trauma into myths comforted survivors, let future generations emotionally process past upheavals, transforming their world, and ethically frame calamity as divine punishment of the sinful to uplift faith. But myths resonate not for historicity, but allegorical meaning. The flood fables emulsified moral lessons in fantastical imagery that imprinted across generations. Their symbolic messages like good ultimately triumphing over evil, devotion being rewarded by divine grace, and a new world being born after destroying decadence remain profoundly evocative. Matsya steering Manu's boat through raging storms is a striking metaphor for the guru saving devotees from existential dread by binding them to spiritual wisdom when surrounded by life's furious currents. By romanticizing morality tales within vivid fictional landscapes, global flood legends became such a tangible part of the collective unconscious. Perhaps an archaic race did once witness unimaginable carnage from comets or floods, the traumatic memories mutating over millennia into mythic narratives. Or maybe the myths emerged independently, drawn from a universal inner template that resonates with some psychic need in humanity, to allegorically overcome its darkest, deepest anxieties through fables of catastrophe but also renewal. Ultimately, the deeper meaning and perennial appeal of flood myths remind us, no storm lasts forever for those anchored in faith. To conclude this journey, remember to like this video if you found it insightful and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. Your support keeps us motivated to continue exploring fascinating topics like these. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.